Hey, what's going on everybody out there? I'm Jakejames Lugo and welcome to the channel. I'm dropping a second vlog today, so that's why I look very similar to my previous vlog. But today I want to talk about Destiny 2. I'm coming back with a vengeance with it. I've been playing a lot of Destiny 2, so if you guys didn't already know, I dropped my full final review in written form over on thecoalition.com. There'll be links in the description box below. It's going to have a much more in-depth, detailed version of what I'm going to discuss here in this vlog. So if you want even more details and just more in-depth stuff about my thoughts on Destiny 2, definitely check that out. Let me know what you guys think about the review in the comment section below. But let's talk about the game. I've been playing a lot of Destiny 2 over a long period of time. I'm probably one of the very few people that's played the most Destiny 2 within the world alongside other members of the gaming media and other influencers, YouTubers, streamers, etc. So what do I think about Destiny 2 overall? Is it a great game? Is it a better experience than the original Destiny? Does it do a lot of different stuff that newcomers are going to appreciate, that are going to want to dive for the first time into this series? To be totally honest with you guys, a lot of those questions I would say yeah. Overall, as a package, Destiny 2 is a great game. You're not only going to get a lot of value and a lot of replayability with it, with all the different activities you're going to want to go back to constantly again and again and again, but there's a lot of little changes all over the place to the game as a whole that elevate the overall experience and make it much better than the previous Destiny. I mean, granted, a lot of people have said that Destiny 2 feels like Destiny 1.5 because it looks the same, like you're doing a lot of the same activities, and a lot of stuff that is very similar to that. But for me, from what I've experienced, again, from seeing this game from its earlier stages up to now with the final release, it follows a very, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but improve upon it type of, philosophy. A lot of the stuff of what you're doing, yes, you're still going to be going through different strikes and activities, garnering loot, or at least searching for different equipment and stuff, but everything just feels much more smoother and is a lot more solid and is streamlined for the better, making the experience just overall something much more grander than what you got beforehand. I mean, now you have fast travel amongst the different planets and locations you can go to. There isn't a confusing map that you could actually have to figure out and kind of like MacGyver a little bit in order to find out what's going on. The public events, they happen a lot more frequently, and you know exactly when they're going to go down, so you can actually go to a bunch of them within a short, frequent amount of time. It's a lot more easier to do stuff like that, especially with some of the bigger, much more time-consuming quests. Like, a lot of the time to complete them is completely cut significantly because you're not spending a lot of time searching for stuff. You're not traveling from one place to another. You can immediately go to where you need to go and get stuff done, allowing you to get to some of the more meatier, much more crazier content later on in the end game. In addition to that, a lot of people have commented on Destiny 2's story mode, which, again, huge improvement over the original game. This story actually feels a lot more cinematic in the way that it's presented. The soundtrack is phenomenal. They did a great job with the music of this game, which was something that took a real back seat in the previous game. Another thing that I mentioned in my written review is that there's a lot more emphasis on meeting specific characters and establishing certain characters that you could grow on you and get some sort of opinion or emotions about what's happening with them this time around than in the previous Destiny. That, I believe, is probably one of the bigger aspects that people had that was a huge problem with Destiny 1's original story. But this time, it's a little bit more focused, it's a little bit more streamlined and guided, it's a lot more cinematically presented in a better fashion, where you feel like, again, you're getting more out of the story this time around from over the previous Destiny. Now, don't get me wrong, the story has its problems. It has a few hiccups and a couple plot points that don't necessarily really make sense and things that kind of go nowhere or aren't really fully explained, but it does have its conclusion. It does have a full circle kind of a series of events that focus on a main character, or at least the main antagonist, Gaul, who's the real big baddie of this game, as opposed to an ambiguous enemy known as the Darkness, or at least, the darkness against the light, stuff with the Traveler. Things that are much more complicated that somebody else more qualified in Destiny lore could explain better than me. The point is, though, you have your campaign. It's presented in kind of, in a much better fashion. You could complete it in about 9 to 10 hours, or at least that's how long it took me to go through the main story. I played the main story about 2 to 3 times. Once when I was actually at a Destiny 2 event with Bungie over in Washington, and then obviously twice when I played the game on its final release for review. Besides that, once you finish the main campaign, the game opens up phenomenally. There's a lot of stuff to get immersed in with Destiny 2. Again, you have the public events, you have the Crucible PvP, which not only has new modes, including Countdown and Supremacy, it has the entire metagame that's involved with that, which is a whole nother can of worms, unrelated to the PvE content, which is very vast in Destiny 2. You have the different quest lines between different characters outside of the main story campaign. You have the adventures, that are, again, other sub-stories that kind of give you extra information about the world and the characters that you're interacting with, but also even more loot and other types of activities to get involved with that are separate from the story missions and the quest lines that are related to each character. And then obviously you have your strikes and you have the big raid, which came out not too long ago. It's the Leviathan, which is probably the biggest raid that's been designed to date by Bungie. It's absolutely insane. Granted, there are a few problems. There, in some steps, there are some bugs and glitches that I feel like are going to get patched up or at least fixed up in subsequent patches later on. But this is such a huge raid. There's so much going on. There's so many secret passages, hidden goodies, shortcuts, and different things to discover that you're not going to get your first, second, maybe even third and fourth time around. You're going to have to hear about it from different friends, other people that you raid with. There's a lot of unique experiences that you get from playing this raid multiple times. Now, one of the things I do want to comment on is the Eververse stuff. I know a lot of people have made a big deal about this, including the stuff with the shaders, stuff with the emotes, and the things that you could buy at the Eververse store. In my personal experience, again, this is my personal experience here, as someone that's played the game extensively over a long period of time, that also doesn't have a huge emphasis on buying cosmetic stuff like that, that type of stuff that was included with the Eververse really didn't hinder or really didn't intrude in my overall experience. I never felt the need to have to go to the Eververse store and buy stuff in order to kind of, progress along the game or really kind of, do stuff that really kind of like progressed me through the story campaign or anything else or really hindered my enjoyment out of playing everything in the game. I know a lot of people do care about cosmetic stuff, again, including the shaders, including the emotes, the sparrows, the ships. I get that, that's all cool. However, it didn't really factor into my review because I didn't feel it was a big deal. It didn't really have any sort of significant impact to me, even when I was playing other endgame content like the raid or other PvE stuff or the Crucible. Some people enjoy that stuff, some people it holds a lot of value to them, but not for me personally. So it was a non-talking point in my overall view of Destiny 2. I felt like there was a lot more stuff that was much more important that had a greater emphasis in the total experience, stuff that I felt like Bungie really took a lot of feedback from the community and really made it just a better game overall compared to what they did with Destiny 1. It feels like, and some people besides me have said this, that Destiny 2 feels like the experience that we were all expecting in Destiny 1. And it is totally true because, again, you still have a lot of the same philosophies and the same design choices which you got from that previous game, but they're just handled so much more better this time around. Now, the actual weapon system or the loadout system has been fine-tuned. You have a kinetic weapon, an energy weapon, and a power weapon, which is vastly different than what you got in the first Destiny, but I feel like that streamlined approach and simplicity is very, very good for this game here. Even though it still has an element of strategy and depth to it, that you could kind of get really meta with it, depending on what activity you're doing, whether you're in the Crucible, whether you're doing PvE content, the raid, you could get a lot more in depth with that and really customize and really figure out what exactly you want to go into different activities with, as opposed to just picking just some of the best light weapons that you have and then just going ham on everything. Now, obviously, you also have the subclasses. You have the 3 different subclasses for each character class, and they have different varying abilities that you can customize. You can figure out different upgrade points of where you want to emphasize some of your playstyle. I think that's very cool. Again, it's not too complicated, but it does have some strategy and depth to it in the same way that the different weapon and armor loadouts are very similar. There's other different nuance changes to like the power level, or at least the light level, now it's called power level, and stuff like that. But again, as a total package, as a total experience, as something that, are newcomers going to want to play Destiny 2 if they never played the original? Are people that have been with Destiny for the last 3 years, are they really going to enjoy something like this? I believe that everybody right now, especially with the feedback and the kind of word of mouth that's been going around about Destiny 2, are really enjoying the game despite all the criticism that has been thrown out there. I think that this is a game that you're going to spend a lot of time with, you're going to get a lot of hours of gameplay, and that's only the tip of the iceberg of what we're going to get with Destiny 2. We still have 2 expansions that are going to come sometime down the line, if not other expansions way after that. You're going to constantly want to go back and play more activities, more raid stuff, more strikes, more public events, in order to get better loot, to get more exotics, to get more legendary drops, to increase your power level. There's a whole bunch of stuff to do with Destiny 2. So overall, I'm enjoying the game. I gave it a pretty damn good score over on thecoalition.com. Again, links in the description box below so you guys can check out my full review. But regardless though, besides my thoughts on Destiny 2, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Tell me if you guys are enjoying the game, if you're playing on PlayStation 4 or on Xbox One, or if you're waiting for that sweet PC version. Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to leave a like on this video, subscribe to my channel for all my videos related to gaming and a whole bunch of other cool stuff. I have more stuff planned for later in the week. I'm going to get back onto the grind with more vlogs every single day, or at least try to do some more vlogs more frequently here on the channel. JJ Brings It videos are still coming. Again, I want to kind of touch on stories that a lot of people aren't really talking about. Hopefully, you guys enjoy all the content now that I'm back in full swing. I will talk to all of you guys again very soon. Peace out and stay epic, everybody.